Northern Rambler is in the chat and waiting for Ojnoj, which is nice to see. How are you all doing? Just give us a little sound check there. Just make sure that everyone can hear what I'm shiting on about. Always good to know you can be heard. How are you all keeping? Obviously, there's been a lot of news since last Sunday when we did this. A lot of news indeed. So, my commiserations to all my UK viewers. It's hard to believe. I suppose in my small 35 years, you know, the Queen was always there. My lifetime was only half our reign, which is hard to believe. Mad. She's gone anyway, so King Charles is the new man on the spot, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. B4L, funny times, welcome to the chat, B4L. Good to see you out and about there. Great stuff indeed. We've got 8 thumbs up and 7 viewers. I don't know what the mechanics of that are, but it looks good. Actually, what I'll do is I'll watch myself on my phone here because sometimes it's easier to see the comments over here than over there. It's far away. If it'll work. Internet is a bit shit in here now, to be honest. Need to stick a bit of Wi-Fi into the shed or something. Although I have the computer out here and it's going to be living out here full time now. So what I need to do is I need to make space over there. I've got a window behind the camera. And having a window in here is just wasted space because anytime you're working in here, you have to have the lights on anyway because you can't see. Even on a wood sunny day in the middle of summer, there isn't enough light coming in through the window. And actually, it's a bit of a distraction, especially if you're doing something like conversions on a colour TV or you're looking in for a bit of corona leakage around an EH3 transformer or something like that. You want total darkness, so the window is actually a bit of a pain in the arse. So that's going to go. I'm going to sheet that over with a bit of plywood both sides, take the 2 panes of glass out, stick a little bit of insulation into it, and then I'm going to mount the computer monitor on the wall directly behind the camera. So I'll be able to look directly at the camera and read your comments at the same time, which could be user friendly. And it'll be handy to have a proper computer out here as well when I want to look something up, a circuit diagram or something. Because at the minute I'm constricted to trying to use the phone in here for looking at stuff and that stuff doesn't work out all that well. So who else have we got here in the chat tonight? We've got Rick 8665. Hi Ojnoj, how are you, Rick? Good to have you aboard. We've got Noel Conway. Hi Noel, and we've got
in the digital first era, enterprises need to deliver digital products.
I have to watch my own ads. This is mad. Remember, every time you watch an ad, someone, a penny falls from heaven into Ojnoj's lap. I think it's literally a penny. Right. White Sapphire. Good evening, White Sapphire. I do hope you're keeping well. Oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That could be a problem. Right, turn Ojnoj down. Turn the brightness down too. Bring it the battery to last. So yeah, there's been a lot of change since last week. It's been quite a surreal week. An unusual week. One that we all knew we'd have to live through at some stage. It's mad. It's very strange, I quite like the Queen actually. Certainly, you say whatever you like about the monarchy or whatever, but if you were to round up, if someone asks you what does the word duty mean, you could certainly point towards the Queen. She certainly didn't shy away from her responsibilities. Who the hell wants to work 70 years in the same job? So, you have to hand it to her. Who else have we got here in the chat? If you're just aboard the chat, by the way, please do give me a thumbs up. I'm big into this thumbs up, and I keep asking for it, but it helps the whole thing push along a little bit, So if you can give me a thumbs up, that'd be just super. Sadly, that is a candle beside the red lamp. It is not a pointy Guinness. Actually, my stomach's at me a bit today, so I won't be drinking a cup of water here at the minute. Haven't felt right all day. Northern Rambler, she was a hard-working woman who couldn't really retire. Well, she could have retired, but she could have handed it all over to Charles and whatever, but I don't think she ever would have. So that's the story. There hasn't been much going on here since last week, unfortunately. Although we do have something relatively interesting on the bench, which we'll give you a look at in a minute. I just noticed that it's a level of earshot or view shot of the camera. So we'll get into that in a minute. Please do give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'd prefer if you gave me a thumbs up, though, obviously. Although, funny enough, people who give YouTube videos thumbs down are missing a point. YouTube don't really take into account thumbs up or thumbs down. They just it just means that people are watching the videos and interacting with them. I think they count it the same way. I actually kind of don't like the way that they did away with the thumbs down button on YouTube, as in that you can see how many thumbs down a video was getting. Because it used to be great if you were looking for a video in particular. I mean, that was the first thing you'd look at. How many thumbs up or thumbs down, and then you'd know. If I had like 10,000 thumbs down, I meant that video is probably not worth watching, or it's a fake video or whatever. Because there's an awful lot of these fake videos floating around. With these fake restorations that you see on YouTube. A lot of them coming from the Philippines and that. Where they're obviously filming them reverse. So your man's going along his motorbike and he finds black and white television in the dump. And someone stood on the tube, and then he brings it home and he rubs a bit of sandpaper on it, and then it's brand new. Bullshit. White Sapphire comments, it's a saddening thought, but just as Her Majesty was passing away, I was rushed to A&E and blue lights. Well, I do hope you're keeping well now, and on the mend, and thanks for joining us this evening. I don't envy you with that. I don't envy you. I wouldn't want to be in that situation now. I'm not too keen on blue lights or ambulances the best of the time. These are hearing me okay, by the way, yeah? I'm not sure what the microphone gain is like there or what have you. Not that I can adjust it anyway, it's in this webcam thing. Something I will look into going down the road is, possibly getting a better system set up. Although I have to say that the quality of the camera isn't all that bad at all. It looks pretty good to me. For what it is, I think it's 720p. I can't do anything here either with that. Audio is fine. Well, that's good to know. Do give a thumbs up if you've just joined the chat. That usually really angers people and they leave the chat, which is fair enough too. You can't please everyone. You can't please all the people all of the time. You can only please some of the people some of the time. Or something like that. Yes, several people have logged off. Anyway, I don't blame them because there's nothing actually happening here. This is just I think these Sunday evenings are just a chance for people to talk to one another in the chat as well. As ask me and their interest. It offers 1080p, yeah, but the camera only goes up to 710, so you probably, or 720, so you probably won't notice the difference between 720 and 1080. I think. I'm not sure. Just turn down the resolution. Go down to 144, 405 line stuff. Yeah. Interesting to know that in the background there's happenings with the 405 line television crowd. And I believe there should be an announcement about that in the not too far distant future, which is good. That's pretty much all that's happening here. Yes, the thing that I have on the bench I must show you. Well, some of you might find it of interest. I'm going around a circle on my phone. That's why I need to get Wi-Fi in here. Phone reception in here isn't wonderful at all. Hence all the problems we had when we did try to do the live streams with the phone. It was a disaster. It's better with the monitor that you can read stuff off in live time, and I can see myself on the monitor, so I know if I'm getting shot or not getting shot and what have you. Audio while just swung in there. Just I thought I would make people aware about taking stuff out of skips. A mate of mine found a radiogram in a skip, got the owner's permission to take it. A cop summons him to court, fined €150. Now, that sounds very dubious to me. I wonder what act of legislation did he fine him €150? It's not theft. The owner's given him permission. Although I have heard it said that when it goes into the skip, it's then the property of the person who's supplying the skip. But I'd want to know what piece of legislation was used, was enforced there. So the judge fined him €150 for taking a radiogram out of a skip. Wouldn't deter me from taking that out of a skip, to be quite honest with you. Now, especially with the owner's permission, surely you could get the owner to come along to court with you and say, well, I changed my mind and I gave it to your man. It was my radiogram. Yeah, I think your friend got. I want to be a very quiet day in the barracks for the copper to be on after something like that. Where was this at? Just a rough geographical location. And I wouldn't mind looking up the court here and just, you can read court reports. I'd like to read that. Because something doesn't sit with me there at all. And £150, and that's a bit steamy. It's only 60 for speeding. Give it up. No. Something went very wrong there. Over the year, I've often took stuff out of skips, and I wouldn't let that put me off either. If I wanted something, I would give them the bloody £150 fine. I'd be happy enough to throw it across. If it was something really special and worthwhile, I'd get €350 notes, I'd throw them at the judge. Feck that. I'd fight that. That's a load of bollocks. Hey, Roundy, have a read in the chat there and see what you think of that. Something that happened in our jurisdiction of the world. Something not right there at all. I don't know. Northern Rambler is in the same boat as myself. He loves a skip point. By the way, those of you who live in Northern England, you will be seeing me at Goblin. It is confirmed that I will be attending the Goblin. What for am I a postman round here, you don't say? Yeah, there's something seriously wrong with that. I don't like the sound of that at all. Anyway, it is what it is. But as I say, if it was something, if there was a geostandard colour television sitting at the bottom of the skip and it meant £150 fine, I'd take it. I certainly would. I think the copper had a budge against your mate as well. That sounds. I can remember one night in town, I was taking timber out of the skip. Big, long sheets of what were they? Long planks. They were 3-inch by 6-inch planks, about 10 foot long. The van pulled up beside the skip, and I was firing all these into the back of the van. And 3 coppers pulled up in an unmarked van, or an unmarked car, should I say, and asked me what I was doing. And I says, I'm taking that timber out of that skip and I'm putting it in that van. I says, all right, yeah, okay. And they sort of hummed and looked me up and down. And they said, fair enough, don't leave a mess after you. And off they drove. Very unusual. Especially the owners of the skip. Like, I don't think the copper couldn't have done anything about that unless the owners of the skip pursued it as an act of theft, And that's what must have happened. So there could be more to this story, Was the skip being lifted by the truck at the time when your man was taking this radiogram out of the back of Anyway, it is what it is. I don't envy him either way, and I hope he gets sorted out. But that's it. Northern Rambler, it's a Diggy Taker, or White Sapphire, sorry. It's a Diggy, it was right in the, 140. An out rhythm. They had to stop it and restart it to get back to normal. But it leaves it around. That's how they say it does alright. Atrial fibrillation or something, I think it's called. White Sapphire comments that it sounds good here. You're not big and bassy like Big Clive. He vibrates the floorboards. Well, I don't know. Do you want me vibrating your floorboards in your house? As I say, it's not the most wonderful microphone that's in this, and I'm sure its audio response doesn't go right down low. But we will sort. We'll get around to doing something about it. Won't be any time soon, but we will look into it. Yeah, so that's the story. Roundy's obviously disappeared after this mysterious forum. So who of you here are going to Galborn? Northern Rambler sounds like he's from Northern England. He may be going to Galborn. Anyone else going to Galborn? I know Roundy Mooney mentioned that he might try and get over, but I think he had a few other more pressing matters as well at hand. If you have just joined the chat, welcome along. Please do comment. Stick your little moniker in the chat there. We'll give you a shout out. It's always good to have new people on board. Last Sunday was actually quite interesting. We had Chris, who is a friend of Shango66, all the way from Los Angeles, California, who happened to pop into the chat. And I think they're 8 or 9 hours behind us. It was just morning time there, and he just stuck his nose. Oh, sorry, Northern Ramblers up in Northern. Yes, no, you said that before, because the night we were listening to the radio. Yeah, you were giving me reports. I think Antrim or somewhere like that, I think you said. I'm probably wrong. Head like a sieve. But yes, I remember now you said you were up the north. I'm sorry to hear that, White Sapphire. You need to watch that, because an uncle of mine had that and he wouldn't go and get it sorted out. Like that, what you said actually is exactly what happened to him. They wanted to stop his heart so they could restart it to get apparently the rhythm resets itself when it's like turning on and off a computer, I believe. But he didn't want to do that. He was probably a bit concerned that they want to stop his heart. And this went on for a long time, and he ended up having a massive stroke. He never fully recovered, but he's sort of 80% back to where he was. But it's certainly something to be aware of. And he was a very fit, healthy man too. He's in his early 60s at that time. Probably about 10 years ago now that happened. But very clean, level, healthy food, big into health food and exercise and all that. So it just goes to show. I mean, you see fat fellas going around the place. And there doesn't be a bother on them. Some of them live to 90, and then other lads who look after themselves, bang. It's hard to know. I think it's a genetic thing as well, a lot of this stuff, you know. Northern Rambler tells me that he's a member of the British Vintage World Society, but can't make the show, unfortunately. Sorry to hear that, but we might catch up with you another one. I'm just lucky the way it lined up and that, and I had a look at the boats, and it wasn't overly unreasonable to get over there and back. And actually, I'm planning something a bit special over there as well. We're going to be doing a video with someone when we're over there, but I'm saying no more about it for now. But it's going to be a little collaboration, and it's going to be a bit of fun, right? So there'll be more about that down the road. I'll probably leave that as a bit of a surprise, but it should be good. So we've got Ray Bourne and George Donaldson just kicking in the front door there, and you see they're just awful men, awful gougers that just swing in here into the chat and cause all sorts of mayhem, right? George and Ray, good to have you on board. Thanks for popping in, lads. Always good to see you. George actually sent me a photo last week on WhatsApp, right? Let's see if I can show it to you. About this motorbike that he's working on, right? Let's see. I'll show you this, right? I'm not worried, George. There's no contact details or anything here. It's just a photograph. Let's see. I know this doesn't work out very well. But, showing stuff to the camera, but let's see. That's his motorbike anyway, right? Or parts of it. In flitters, right? All the valves, all the springs, all the nuts and bolts, studs, clutch. That looks like to me. Yeah. Crankshaft, camshafts. I mean, you gotta be dedicated to be at shit like that. Fair play to you, George. That's a bit of dedication right there. Ray White Sapphire is. You're just back from Ray's, John. Well, good man. I need to get down to Ray. Myself and Ray had a great telephone conversation there. A couple of months ago, after the last big live I did there, 6 or 7 weeks ago. Actually, it's more. It's probably about 3 months ago now. And I had told Ray I had the intention of going down to see him, but it hasn't worked out. It's not going to work out for a while, but with the winter coming and the dark evenings and everything, things are going to slow down a little bit on my off days from school. So I might get down to you at some stage, and we'll have a little chat, maybe on camera if things are good. Attack 6 sounds like one of them CB doofers that you mad lads to be screaming and roaring at one another. Miss Ben, you, John Joe, yeah, I can tell. I had a bit of that myself, you know, but I could show you something actually. I said it last week in the chat. I've been doing something a bit silly, you know. I've been polishing rocker covers for the Leyland 680 engine, right? So I've one done. It's not a brilliant job, but it's better than it was. So I mean, Leyland 680 is a truck and bus engine. For anyone who doesn't know, from the 70s, late 60s into the 70s. So I just thought it'd be a bit of crack to polish up the rocker covers, you know, like something you'd see in an E-type Jag or whatever. So one of them is polished up. I haven't started the other one yet. I could show the two of them to you for a side-by-side comparison, but needless to say, it's an awful lot of work for no real reason. But it's a bit of crack. White Sapphire is thinking about turning her hand to amateur radio. But you don't know where to start. I am an amateur radio person. So is George, as you can see his call sign. So George might correct me. I'm not a big amateur radio person by any means. I'm not on the air at the minute. Well, it's funny enough you say classic tractors, because there's a Ford 2000 parked outside the door of the shed here. With the starter motor off it at the minute. So we actually are into tractors as well. We're into anything old. The interest goes far beyond vintage electronics. Good man, B4L. I appreciate that. That helps, especially with the electricity, the price it is. So working out, I think it's 30 cents. I don't know actually. I was trying to find an ESP bill today, but it's going to go up again anyway. So electric heater here in the shed. I have it on the 1 kilowatt setting when I use it. I haven't used it yet. Actually, I had it on for an hour yesterday. It was actually cold yesterday morning in here. So 1 kilowatt could be 30 cents. It could be 30 cents an hour to heat the shed. That's not taking into account lights and computers and amateur radios and stuff. Anyway, I'm getting away from the point. So your 99 cent B4L could give me 3 hours of heat. For €4 a day, you get a letter off Ojnoj telling you how he's doing in school. Sorry, I'm getting distracted there. I need to address these comments one at a time. White Sapphire has said that she's interested in getting into amateur radio. Now, George Songton is an amateur radio man, as I said. Except the whole thing. And I'm into amateur radio. I'm not in a big way, and I haven't been on air in a long time, actually. Probably over the years since I was on air. I can't even go up in 2 meters at the minute because the or the Diamond X300 and snapped in half there a while ago. What could I say? Seek out your local amateur radio club. They should be very helpful. They mostly are. And I will go from there. Exam, I think, George might be able to fill you in a bit better here, and there might be someone in the chat that's a UK amateur radio person, so they would be even better again, maybe. I think it's a 3-tier system to get your amateur radio license in the UK. So I think you get like an M6 or something. I'm talking from the arse here. Which I think allows you onto HF and VHF, and it's up to 10 watts, I think. Then you get another one, which I don't know. George, you're gonna have to help me out here a bit. I think it gives you 100 watts or whatever, and then the final one I think is there's technical stuff, and you can make your own gear with the second of the 3-tier, and then the third is the CW Mars. You do a Mars test. But if you're not interested in Mars, that's not a showstopper anymore. At one time, you had to do the Mars to get the amateur radio license, whether you were interested in it or not. And there was a big divide in the amateur radio thing, because some lads aren't interested in Mars at all, and they had to learn it just to get the license, and then they went straight onto single sideband. Yeah, it's multiple choice over here. I'm not sure if it is over there, because I think but there's something about they can do it at home as well now through a webcam. Yeah, the 2 classes here is A and B. I got the B. George went ahead and did the Mars, obviously. You can tell the difference in the Irish call signs between A and B, because he has 2 letters after his call number, and I have 3. So that's the difference. But it's much easier here because I can do anything he can do, except I can't use Mars. Right? So it's easier here. So you're straight out at it, and it's multiple choice, and there's 2 exams, I think. Yeah, it gives you everything. B license gives you access to everything that an A license does. A is just Mars as well, added into the Roundy Mooney did the test years and years ago, and he never bothered sending off the form. He wants to do the CW so he can get the sexy call sign like George there. Maybe he's right. I have had half-hearted attempts at learning Morse code over the years, but I never stuck to it. You need to stick to it and do it. But it's a piece of piss to pass if you want to do it now, because it's only 5 words a minute here is the standard. I mean, nobody sends 5 words a minute, you know. I mean, a slow Morse man would be doing 12, I think. Mrs. Ojnoj is in the chat. What's Mrs. Ojnoj saying? Mrs. Ojnoj is saying there's no cake. There's no cake. Roundy Mooney is up in the air with the goblin. But he'd do his best. You might head over one of the daughters. That should be a lovely family trip. Yeah, well, it'd be good to see you. You obviously, you know what me mush looks like, so if you're there, give us a shout. Don't be afraid to come up and ask for an autograph. Oh, by the way, I have to buy you a radio as well. I owe you a radio. George did the Morse just for the crack. And how are you reading the Morse, George? How many words a minute can you read proficiently if you're listening to it? I can do up to 3 letters a minute. It was the Morse part to put you out of run years ago. I can't read it fast enough. On sending, I'd probably land in jet. Yeah, but you don't need it anymore. John Green there knows the crack. Yeah, 12 words per minute was the minimum. And you had to do used to do it in the Coast Guard stations and all. Them lads wouldn't take any messing, you know. They were very strict back in them days. And you had to design, you do a full written theory exam and design a radio and all this kind of stuff, you know. Draw a diagram for a 10-watt constant wave transmitter or something. You'd have to have this in the top of your head, like, you mean. Serious stuff. And then, of course, as the years went by and they loosened it up, the old boys got very resentful of young people coming in. And a lot of nastiness as well in it too at times. George using that on his phone. I used the app on the phone too, George. But I didn't stick to it, as you know. No need, JJ, but you won't turn that down. You might regret saying that. I'll get you something ridiculous. Like a clapped out AR-88 for a fiver or something. I'll just throw it at you. Here, bring that home. Wonderful. Wonderful. Have we got any other new people in the chat here, actually? Let's see. Is there any new names here? Do give me a shout out if you're new to the chat and I'm missing your name, right? Your PC is good for 100. 15 to 20 on a good day. That's good going, George. I wouldn't fall out with that. At least I have the room for one now. Of course, you were building your workshop, yeah. Very good. So, room is a bit of an issue here at the minute again. Even though I had massive clear outs and whatnot, space is at a serious premium at the minute. But we'll figure something out. We will figure something out. Bryo Huey. Hi, how are you? Bryo? Welcome to the chat. Welcome aboard. Those pesky sea bears, yeah, George. What a bad man, George. George, tell me this. If you want to go on air, what's your first poison? Do you go for the CB or do you go for the old bit of HF? I have to say, I never got involved with CB either, but I have a couple of rigs here. I know I've made a couple of contacts over the years. There's a few things I don't understand about CB. Where did they get the call signs from, for a start? Because they're throwing call signs at one another. And I don't know, if you haven't got a CB radio call sign, will people still want to talk to you? I've just made contact with a couple of truckers around here and that over the years on AM. You throw a call out and someone might come back to you. Quiet enough though. This time of year, a couple of lads down the soil and that you might hear. John Green. George, I also use an app on my phone for receiving and a hand key to send. Good man, yeah. Best off not to go near the key until you can read it. That's right. That's what I was told, alright, by John. When he was in Atlantic College, they weren't allowed anywhere near the key till they could read it at least 15-20 words a minute. FTA is your poison. Yeah, you were showing me that alright, but it's still a bit over my head. But you were showing it to me where the rig just spits away there all day and it gets the reports in where it's being heard on the web SDRs or whatever. It's very interesting, alright. Good to know if your aerial's working or not. Certainly. White Surfer had a CB 40 years ago and our handle was Anti-Sally. Jesus. What would be a good radio to start on? Oh, I don't know. George, what would a good radio for a starter be? Something cheap anyway. But if you do join an amateur radio club or get involved in one, it's quite likely they usually have old rigs for people that are starting out that they'll lend you or whatever, and you can have a go with it. What I would say is don't go out and buy a big all dancing all whistling rig, because you mightn't get on with it. It's much like cars. I mean, they're all a bit different. And you get a car you don't like driving, it's a bit of a nightmare. So I'd say something old, something second hand to start with. But certainly if you're in an amateur radio club, someone will probably give you a lend to a rig once you pass your test. And they'll probably give you a rig before you pass your test so that you can at least be listening to the bands. Actually, that's what I would say. First of all, before you go that far, get yourself a general coverage receiver, whatever it may be, something like what I have here, the Kenwood R600 or the Frog 7 or whatever, something half decent general coverage receiver that has single sideband capability on it. and listen to the bands. Listen to 40 metres, 80 metres, 20 metres. And just see how much activity you hear and listen to it and see if it's something you want to get involved with. Because you might find, listen to it, you go, well, that's a load of shit. I'm not really into that. So have a listen first, I would say, would be my best advice. And then go from there. But certainly, and listening to the bands anyway, even if you do decide to go and get the license, you listening to QSOs and that, you get an idea of what to say and when to say it, and the etiquette and all the bits and pieces to go into it. And you'll find that very helpful. So that would be my first piece of advice. But definitely, if you join the club, someone will help you out with a rig somewhere. Then after, down the road, then you can look at getting a permanent setup. I don't think that's very bad advice, is it, George? The newer radios, once you hook them to a PC, are a whole new world. Yeah, so I say, I mean, you have it all, the water falling all up on the screen. To see your man DX Commander when he's live streaming or whatever. I haven't seen any of his stuff lately. I wonder, is he still going? I know he lost his channel and there was a whole debacle with him there a while ago, which was a bit sad. I wouldn't like that to happen to me or anyone else that I'd be into. I'm missing a few comments here because they're coming in thick and fast, so just bear with me. Jerry BVR, not sure if I should say hello. Fire away. XCB and ex-Pirate many moons ago. Oh, well, those people are more than welcome here. We don't discriminate. This isn't an amateur radio channel. This is a bit of everything channel. Mainly vintage electronics, but we touch on all aspects of life. So no, I'm not going to say I ever flew the Jolly Roger. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And you know, and I've said it here before, and I don't know how long you're watching me, Jerry, so you might not hear me saying this, so I'll say it quickly, rattle it off. As the medium wave band becomes less and less populated, people like our good self are going to be more important in keeping these old radios alive. And I would be hoping that they would hand over the medium wave band to people, like they've done in Holland, with, you know, these 1 watt licenses and all that you can apply for. But if they don't, I think fire away. I think it's open season. There's 1 or 2 pirates still kicking around in Ireland, and they don't seem to get anything, any real attention. Jerry, welcome. I used to do a bit of pirate myself. Good crack. B4L, yeah. No, bit of a mad lad there, B4L. Myself and Ray are probably the biggest prominent of the CB in the country. Well, keeping them alive anyway. Yeah, I'd say you are. I'd be listening here around the Dublin area, and there's a few boys on it, alright. And there's a few up around Dundalk and that. I don't know if you're in touch with any of these lads. A couple of lads just across the border as well. I hear them from time to time here. I don't have a proper CB set up though, so reception facilities wouldn't be excellent. Re-skips, talking to my mate there, just happened 5 years back in Swords. The cop made it clear, once in the skip, it's the skip's property, regardless of the owner's permission. Well, that's fair enough, but surely the copper would have to go to the person who owns the skip and get him to say, you know, I want to press charges. You know, someone breaks into your gaff. Unless you pursue it, they're not going to, you know. So it sounds like the fellow who owned the skip owner was a bit of an arsehole. I'll be honest with you, it would not deter me in the slightest. Especially if we're saying something very sexy in the skip. I would look at that as 150 quid well spent. But I certainly would for you. Definitely. That copper had very little to be doing. I wonder who it was. I used to live, obviously, you know, the TV shop was in Swords, and I know Swords well. Yeah, exactly, Roundy. That's a copper with little to be doing, and I'm surprised that the judge even entertaining that shit. Unusual. Look at this. Hell for review. How does he know prick is a bad word? Show. Good man, no. My sentiments exactly. And it's coppers like that to give the rest of my bad name. Oh, you've the 5-watt UHF TV transmitter, but you wouldn't dare fire it up. Ah, no, bang it up. Woolsey Colour King pointed towards London. I know there's a good bit of that pirate TV shit going on in Holland. What happens if I wanted to say I pricked my thumb? Well, that seems to be alright. I'll tell you what, Roundy, just for the crack while you have your keyboard in your hand. Just say I have a prick in my finger and see what happens. You know. No, it doesn't like you saying that. Unusual. Like, I want to prick a thread out of my coat. I tried to leave a post on last week's stream and YouTube blocked it too. Oh, I don't remember you popping up in the thing, so it must have been blocked before it even got to me. Usually, so what happens here is I have the chat up the side, the same as you do at home, but it will say to me, you know, it'll show up, the comment will come up in grey, in italics, and say, you know, show or hide this comment because it's being flagged by YouTube as, you know, inappropriate or some shit like that. But, oh, in the comments. Yeah, well, I said last week that I check the comments every couple of days, maybe twice a week. In my YouTube Studio app, there's a section for comments that are held for review. So, what I have done with comments, you can't put a link in my comments, because what was happening was, and you've probably all seen on YouTube videos, where there's these IP address grabbers. So, and you see little links, and if you click on the link, it grabs your IP address and something nasty happens to your computer. So I don't want that shit on my videos. So links to videos are blocked. Now, funny thing is, if you write a sentence, full stop, and don't leave a gap, the computer thinks it's a link. So sometimes lads don't leave a space between the next sentence and the last one. And so if you have like then, and, right, without a space, YouTube will hold that thinking it's a link to something or other. So, and I just press, you know, show, comment or whatever. But yeah, no, that didn't come true to me at all. So I think there's some stuff that YouTube will stop even getting to me if they feel it's, you know, not suitable for their platform, full stop. They won't give me the choice. And it's hit and miss as well, as we can see. John Joe putting stuff in a skip. You mad, right? That would never happen. I would have to say, keep that in the car. It's not just a skip. Even in the recycling centre, for example, me and John Joe are there putting stuff in, and we spot something John Joe has in his car. I can't say I'll have that. They won't let you. No, recycling centres are a bit of an arse as well. I know in the UK years ago they used to like have a shop, and that they look half decent. You know, electronics and all, they'd sell it, which seems better. But now, of course, the age we live in, that has stopped as well. John Joe putting stuff in a skip probably wouldn't be a very regular occurrence. I would say more stuff comes out of skips than goes into skips, but it's a bit of crack. When I got into the recycling centre, I come home with more than I brought. George, that's terrible. Mrs. Ojnoj is speaking from the voice of experience. Many a time she's been called over to help Ojnoj lift some. Grab one end of this. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah, well, lads. 19 thumbs up and 23 people in the chat. Someone has not hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button now at your convenience. I don't know why that happened anyway, Jerry, but fire away with putting comments up now. As I say, the thing with the space could be an issue as well. The Crackle, my brother nicknamed me the Skip Rat. So, and once again I noticed that everything is backwards on the computer screen here, but it's not for you at home, or you would have said so by now. This, by the way, is something you don't see every day. I like saying that. This was John's rig. And he saved up for this, and he bought it brand new in 1980. I think it was 1984. So sadly he doesn't need it anymore. So it's now in my possession. And I've just been running up there today. I was just checking it with the dummy load to see if it's keying up alright, and it is. Problem is the power supply for it, the switch is broken. So we have the power supply, the matching ATU, and the outboard speaker as well. So I'm just running off the bench power supply here at the minute. And this is a JRC JST-100. And it's JRC's first transceiver. Before that, they had a separate receiver and transmitter. So it's a rather nice rig, a little bit short of function. Wouldn't have the functionality, obviously, of the modern ones. Northern Rambler has a JST-100. Well, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. How do you find it? It's looking at it here, and I'm going to be commissioning this in the future. I was wiring up the microphone for it earlier on. Now, John was strictly, and I mean strictly, a CW man. The only time he ever spoke into an amateur radio gear was when I gave him a Baofeng UV5R during the lockdown, and we were talking through the 3-rock repeater. It was quite funny. All the years he was in the amateur radio, he never used it. Any voice modes, he was strictly CW. So anyway, I have this rather nice microphone that I was given years ago, which is switching on, and Yaesu actually bought these in and had their badge stuck on it, but it's made by a crowd called Primo, Japanese crowd. Very, very nice microphone. And the ones with Yaesu on them go for respectable money. As I say, it's just badged. They outsource them. Now, of course, I put the plug on today, right? Wire up the switch, put the plug on. But of course, you know what I did. And I was being very careful. Put this on first, soldered up the plug. And then, of course, I found the locking ring sitting on the bench, which obviously should have went on first. So I'm going to have to undo it at some stage. But not to worry, it's working okay. As I say, we had it up into the dummy load here, and she's not short of the power. You have the full setup too, and you love it. And I'm glad to hear that. John was very fond of this machine, and he worked the whole world on 20 meters, especially back in the 80s, when things were really, really good. You noticed that as soon as it came in shot, I just have the long wire stuck in the back of it, so it's not optimum at all, because it's, once a 50 ohm load, not a long wire hanging out the arse. But it's on 20 meters there now. We'll just turn up the volume and see what it sounds like. I think you can agree, lads. It's a nice sound to make. Ray has a Nikon 7300. Yeah, it's a lovely machine, Ray. You were showing it to me already. That is a serious guy here. Hiya Dennis, welcome to the chat, pal. You've the extender boards as well. Yeah, that's right. I was doing a little bit of reading on them. But you know, there's feck all on the web about them. They obviously didn't knock out as many of them or whatever, but I think they were fairly pricey. I think they were pricier than the likes of an FT902 or whatever. I think they were a fairly expensive machine. They're all the contestants are on 5-9. 5-9. Can't hear you. 5-9. You're 5-9. Repeat your call time, please. 1560. Is that what he said? Couldn't sit on the radio for that length of time. I remember a lad on the radio years ago. One Sunday, I was chilling around and I come into the shed about 10 o'clock in the morning, turned on the radio on 80 metres. And there was a chap calling now, CQ, Work All Ireland, right? And I came back in at 6 o'clock and he was still on the same spot calling out CQ, Work All Ireland. There's no fun in that, lads. Not for me anyway, I wouldn't. She sounds good on the LSSB. So actually, funny enough, when I had the microphone plugged into this earlier on, and I was checking the output on the watt meter, that's the first time sideband was ever used on this rig in its near 40 years. Funny, isn't it? Well, that's what I'd be hoping too, Northern Rambler. I wouldn't, hurry to get into it. The only thing I do have to do, it lived in his bedroom, so there's a good bit of fluff and that obviously is built up over the last 40 years inside it. So I'll need to take the covers off and give it a blowout. But other than that, well, a good proper heatsink on the back, or she'll sit there and she'll do 130 watts all day without a fan. I think he has the filters in our tail, yeah. Yeah, no fan, totally silent. There's not too many rigs can sit there and do that kind of power without a fan. Nice bit of weight at that. Someone breaks into a shack and they're in there, you can throw it at them. You see a few more people just in the chat there. Welcome along this evening. We're just having a look at this JRC JST-100 HF transceiver. Just try 140. It's just a shame it doesn't do AM as well. Or general coverage. This would be a wonderful general coverage receiver. No, of course we can do it. I keep forgetting we have up and down buttons here to spin it. Not hearing that on 80. There's standard, that's WWV. That's coming in nicely, bang on 10. It has that on it as well, so you can check the alignment of the frequency counter. I would have expected to hear something on 80 though this time of night. It's definitely working. It must be those conditions aren't great. That's Shanley coming on. 3413.
The 11th at 1800 until the 12th at 24.
He sounds totally dead. Anyway, that's the radio. It's a nice bit of kit either way. So that's that. So we're commissioning that at the minute, getting back into service. I want to build a separate radio shed to have all the amateur gear in, so it's not mixed up with the TVs and stuff. Something about say 6 foot by 10 foot or whatever. Nice bench and all stacked up. Nice, good high ceiling. Let me have a look at the chat here. The guy had every radio ever made in the States. What a find. And a great collection of microphones. Yeah. They have some gear over there, but they get carried away too. I was looking at a YouTube video a while ago of a fella who had every rig that was ever made, and 10 of them, 10 of each. Jesus, you're gonna die, pal, and someone's gonna have to get rid of all that shit. I don't think they realise this too. That's right, you can dim the display as well. Yeah, no, it's quite nice. When Dennis was a lad, we were extremely poor and he used to resolve SSB, he'd stick the AM shortwave radio next to his tandy. Oh yeah, I've done that too. $3,752. Alright, we'll switch back on and we'll tune up there and we'll see. 3752. We have a problem there, we're not hearing nothing. Well, we're not hearing nothing, or it's the noise from the computer could very well be wiping it out. That's more bloody likely, isn't it? Because We're at S9 noise here, and I can kind of hear something in the background. I'd say that's what the problem is. It's probably the computer. Yeah, I haven't got that kind of noise up in the higher bands. That's what it is. The noise from the computer's drowned at 80 meters. So, yeah. You have to bear that in mind.
You're only over the other side of the wall there, rolling. We've got you loud and proud. Dairy, London Dairy, whatever it is you want to call it there, mate. We've got you in the queue all day. You know, often on this side of the wall with the working conditions.
40 meters, 7163. You heard this chap? Mr. Elder.
Mike Italy 7 radio Delta 1 is cheers for cracking the game here, pal. It's not often that the old wire antenna causes a wee bit of a tile up there, but mate, it just shows that it's working, mate. I'll give you a wee signal report on your next door there, Ronan, but no, you were certainly coming through the small pile up there on your last over. But here, go again and we'll give you a wee signal report there, Ronan, there, mate. On you go there, Mike Italy 7 radio X-ray Delta. Thank you very much, Julian. MI7, RX, returning. You're sounding actually great. It's 5 and 9, plus 20 as usual. Just beaming across. It's amazing how well the bit of wire you've got doing, mate, because you're getting a lovely wee pile up going there. Back to you, great. You're 5 and 9 here, mate, in the Strand Knowledge, you know. I was actually saying that we've been on frequency. I was speaking to a boy there in Manchester for God Christ. We've nearly been on this frequency nearly 2 hours. It was just I was speaking to a boy in another Christ, he was on 172, but there's a blooming contest going on and we were getting played over. I was just flicking around myself and all I heard was he was a lorry driver. When I typed in his call sign, he was a lorry that I noticed, so it turned out that me and him go by one another most nights, and there you go, as I said, there you go, blooming radio, it's just strange.
Audio All has a nice trio tuner and amp. The cat sat on the amp, pissed on it, and blew the fuse. Luckily no other damage. Dried it out, replaced the fuse, and working okay again. I would imagine, Northern Rambler, that the cat is in the bin after that.
No problem at all. Your microphone back to you. Mike Italy 7 radio X-ray Delta from Mike 7 Juliet November Tango. Back to you, mate. Thank you, Juliet.
Maybe the cat has problems around. I'll be back in a minute, lads. I'm going to get myself a drink of water and deal with some important business. So I'll leave you with a bit of 40 meter action there. Right, back in a minute, lads.
Mike 7 Juliet November Tango. I've got you on my map. What's in your name? You're my only contact to the southwest of Scotland. So you're on my map there. Like I must update my QRZ because I'm actually cluttered my massive slab of the UK and Ireland with many contact with. So I must update it there because you're on there too, and I don't think you're on at the minute. Is it raining where you are too? Back to rain again. We had a couple of weeks of actually good weather. Like our August in Derry was pretty good. Climbed a couple of mountains. Slieve Snock, the highest mountain in Buncrana, just like the north kind of peninsula there of Ireland. Great. The view up there by Alpini, wow. Did you do anything special at the end of the summer there? Back to you. Mike 7 Juliet November Tango return. We last spoke in August there, mate. Well, we first spoke in August and we last spoke today, but we're actually over your side of the wall driving lorries, so when I took a week off, we thought we would go round the usual bit, Port Rush, Port Stewart, Coleraine, and we done the Giant Causeway and blah blah blah, as you've probably done as well, but it's unbelievable, the same as this side of the country, mate, you've got all them white beaches and blue seas on your doorstep, although you haven't got the Caribbean or the Turkish heat, you've got the beautiful beaches and the beautiful water, which you don't realise is actually on your doorstep, and you spend £5, £6, whatever £1,000 flying away Jamaica, the Bahamas, or whatever else to go and get all these beautiful sceneries, but you don't realise you've got them on your doorstep, and that's what we've done, mate. We spent a week in Port Rush. It's a bit of a mini Blackpool, and I suppose it's no as exclusive as the Bahamas, but it was as close as the Bahamas we were getting this year, Ronan, and the microphone back to you, mate. Oh, hey, that part of the coast side, Coleraine and Port Rush, right up there is amazing, so those sides, great to visit. I've been up on the Giant Causeway, some spot time, unbelievable. My dad on a great walk there, Ards Friary, and there's a couple of private beaches. You go through a forest, like, and you want to see it, I swear to God, like, there were these two private beaches. You could have been anywhere in the world, like, the water was, like, crystal clear. There was, like, just two people away in the distance playing on the beach, and a boy came over in a speedboat from across. Swear to God, like, it was one that, like, I couldn't believe it. One of them amazing days last week, we took the dogs out through it, just got, we were all like, wow. I love finding places like that, like, it was so good. Ards Friary, past a wee place called Creasel. Oh my God, hey, so good. I know what you're saying, like, I know you gotta get out there, like, in the summer, definitely. It's like nature's free. Get yourself a good pair of binoculars, like, and learn all the wee birds and the trees and stuff like that, like, and climb a mountain or two. Back to you, it's free when you do that kind of stuff, but you just gotta walk it. That's exactly the road. I've actually got a couple of mates that drive lorries down in Donegal and all that, and we were going to venture down there, but I don't know, we just got swayed to go and just as far as Port Rush and round that coastal route there, up round the Causeway and down the Larne and whatever else, but here we'll venture down your end there in the future, but it's unbelievable what you've actually got on your doorstep, and it's the same as us over here. I mean, I go by it every day, and yes, I do see the views from Port Patrick, Port Logan, Drumore, whatever else, but you don't pay much attention to it when it's on your doorstep, day in, day out, blah, 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 but whenever you sit back and you think, Christ, I actually live in a beautiful area there. It's, I don't know, it's just sometimes you just want to get out of your own area and go in somebody else's area, but you've actually got what they've got in your cage, it's just a strange way the old human brain operates there, but there you go, but no, that's what we done. We spent a week there between Port Rush, Port Stewart and the Causeway and back round the Larne and Belfast and back on the boat back home. It was just a week there. We could have spent longer, we couldn't have had a better week in August. It was over 20 degrees, 25 degrees every day. We actually hired a house on that Airbnb website. What was it, £700 or £800 for the week? But oh Christ, it was a spectacular. I mean, I have a nice house, but I mean this thing was like a show house, Ken. But when they're charging you £800 and they probably hire it out, I don't know what they blooming hire it out 40 weeks of the year. They'll not be long in paying the mortgage off, but no, it was beautiful. It was just nice just to get away for a weekend. I'm not going to waffle on, but certainly the views you've got around the Causeway and around the shore and Port Rush and or down that Strand, East Strand or whatever beach you call it, spend a day there with the car. Just a beautiful part of the country you live in there, mate. Well, maybe not so much. I know where you are in Derry, they're away on there, down closer down to the border there, but certainly that Port Rush area is beautiful there. Ronan, microphone back to you, bud. I've spent many a day when I was away in Port Rush. I used to go to Barry's amusement site all the time in the summer, and a guy, my man was waiting.
Hello, we're back.
You stay on a bar. So we used to go up in the summer, actually quite a bit, like staying up in that place and playing the beach and so on. So really good actually. Radio when you're out in the lorry.
Cats are a get hard at times. I'd want to knock over the television here to work.
Yeah, this is just more or less for the police or kind of as a road shot or anything like that. There's nothing else. It's no for any banner or any laws or anything like that. But nah, as I probably said to you before, if you've been listening there, for the last few years, I've been on the radio for over 20, well, I'm 38 now, so at least 25 years plus. CB and 10, 11 meters or muppet bands or whatever you want to call it again, but it's just the way the world went, and I've always wanted to do the ham radio or amateur or whatever it is, but just the way the world is, you're able to now to do it online, so I pulled the finger out, and I wish I'd done it years ago, but there you go, there's no point in looking back, but it is a great hobby, and it just brings people in. It's unbelievable. I was speaking to a boy, G0UNG, Golf Zero Uniform.
80 metres is for older people who have had the good fortune to be able to buy a house where they can stick an 80-metre long wire up and mount a spare. Yeah. What about the old boys, and the real old boys on top band that live in a mansion? Don't forget them.
There's a company I go by every night, Overtake, and I just asked him and he says, oh, yeah, we've seen you boys before, so going to keep an eye out for him now, but Christ, we were off and on there for over an hour and a half, and he says he was no longer in, had nothing to eat. I think he'd starved, he said, and he was away ordering a Chinese or a takeaway of some kind anyway, so he might be back on, I don't know, or what, or he's maybe still sitting, I've no idea, but it's just been great.
The old boys on the top band can be quite entertaining, alright.
I'm not a 5 and 9 good luck by biking the guy, and we've got you in the
That's how you did, alright.
only
220 volts would get there.
Until he starved himself, and then I was just going to go off, but then folk was calling in, so it's always nice just to get a bit of banner there running. Microphone back to you anyway from Mike 7 Julie November Tango to Mike Italy 7 Romeo X-Ray Delta. Back to you, bud. Alright, Mike MBS 7 Radio X-Ray Delta returning. Well, that's we have to get the magic of the radio work, you know, a wee chat lags like with the old CD work when I was a kid, like. That's what it was about, like. Just a quick KSO and a quick meal frequency. 5 and 9 is just not doesn't do it. You want to get a wee bit of a chat lag, like, you want to get to know the person too, like, if have a bit of...
I'd agree with what he's saying there. You want to have a little chin right as well. 5 and 9 just doesn't cut it for me either.
That's what it's about. They're just yapping away to some random Larry boy. Oh, for a good hour and a half. Perfect. That's the magic of radio. I get a buzz from using walkie-talkies and my wee nephew, like, so.
I'd agree with what he's saying, alright. Exactly, Dennis. I think you're dead right there, yeah. I had a message in the meantime from a chap called Daniel Starton, who has told me that he has unsubscribed from the channel because I blanked him in the live chat. Well, Daniel, that's not the case if you're still watching. I didn't see your message. I don't happen to see everyone's message, but if we scroll back, your message isn't there. So if you want to come back in again, you're more than welcome. We're accommodating to as many people as we can here. So that's all I'll say about that. What time is it here? We're just heading for 25 to 9. So getting this rig back up in the air will be the next thing. Sort out the aerial. A bit of work to do on the aerial. It's not 100% happy with it. It's sort of a doublet. 80 metre doublet, you know. But we can tune it up wherever we need to tune it up. So I think this will be the weapon of choice up on HF, even over the FT902 DM. Well, there's no messing about with tuning up or anything, you know, it's solid state output stage, so you just point it to where you want to go and off you go. So it's a handier machine to drive. I have the NBD 500. NBD 520 is obviously a sexier version. The switch on the front of it is broken, which isn't ideal. Not ideal at all. But we'll open it up and have a look at it. It's a year or two since this rig's seen any action, so it should be alright. We'll get her going again anyway. The ATU is a nice job too. It's a nice tidy job. It's a bit more compact than the FT. The one that matches the FT902 ATU. It's a little bit more user friendly, I think. Doesn't seem to take up quite that amount of bench space for what it is either, which is good. Alright, Audio Al, you take her easy, pal. We'll see you in the near future.
Fantastic, like your FM quality, do you mean? Back to you, MI7 RX. This one is Romeo X-Ray Echo. That's Mike Italy 7, Romeo X-Ray Delta. Denmark. My friend, Johnny Arnold.
The 15A can trip out on full key down situations. Never had John mention that now, funny enough. He might be just on the limit though.
And Julian as well, very, very nice modulation from both.
Don't think so, Roundy, no.
I'll quickly tell you my working conditions. We're on the U2 S2DX.
He gave the DX Commander a run for his money, so he would.
The antenna of the end-fed halfway in the garden there. It's about 35 feet from the ground at the moment. We're 55 watts, and I'll raise some line round here. We're 55 watts from the transceiver. We're about 50 watts at the 4091. Go ahead. Lovely stuff. Yeah, well, I'm using just a wee Fox Tango 450 myself, the original one, and I was lucky enough to get from a retired ham an MD 100 just about a month ago or something, so we just made a handful of QSOs with this death switch. Loving that, but you feel like a proper boss when you like your first QSOs with the death switch. So I haven't got any bad reports, but the guy was...
He hasn't. No. Funny enough, Mrs. Ojnoj was watching on the laptop in the kitchen. No, I heard it, but it was down already. We might leave him to it. We'll come back. 7163. We'll come back in half an hour and see if he's still there. Oh, one thing George Donaldson said was he doesn't go on 80 anymore because he's got fed up with having the same conversations with the same people. I got a little bit like that at 80 too, actually. And they'll chase you, though. You don't have to go looking for them. They'll find you. The same fellas. And you believe that, Northern Rambler? He's running 10 watts. Yeah, only run 10 watts, I'm sure he is. So that's the JST-100 anyway. So I'm glad Northern Rambler has one and he's happy with it. So that's at least two that are in use, will be in use now. So 500 can only do 15 amps. That's interesting. I'll keep an eye on that. I'm only going to be doing SSB anyway, and I probably won't have to wick all the way up. I don't really see the need for the full power either. You know, enough is enough. Give it an easy life. that's pretty much it, lads. So we're looking forward to the Galbarn. A few people are going, a few people aren't going. And do 20 on a sword. Yeah, it was probably good enough then for what he was at. He only really worked on 20 as well. 20 was his favourite band to hang out on. It's a lovely looking receiver. Of course, it was state of the art. Yeah, so would I, Rowney. They go on with so much bullshit on them bloody competitions. It does my head in. Not for me at all. No way. No way, Jose. No. Competitions would wear you down. I knew of a guy who cumulatively used 1 watt to work every state in the US using CW. 1 watt was made up of 1/50th of a watt average per contact. How's the Deca? Deca? What Deca? I don't know what Deca you're referring to. I do have a Deca television in storage already, but it hasn't been attacked yet. Oh, the Dynatron. The Dynatron is as well as it was the last time it was out, which is about 6 weeks ago. I haven't been near it since, actually. So, I'll probably get back to it in the near to mid-near future. Because I want to tidy it up a bit. Needs a lot of work too. Still a very sick television. Although it gives a reasonable account of itself with the decoder and 9 output panel out of the other one. So, it's not too bad. Actually, the other one could get a bullet in the head. Too bloody big and heavy. On reflection now, I don't think I would have bought it. Bob Anderson TV. You like his style? No, you like his no-nonsense style. I can't say I've come across him. We'll have a look for him. I'm wondering, have any of you watched Trev, who does the 405 line stuff and the amateur radio stuff as well now? He was in the chat here for a while last week, actually. Banders on TV on YouTube. I've seen them already. I have seen them. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, if I'm honest with you. I wouldn't really have the time to be sitting down and watching, getting involved. But I have seen his stuff. Yeah, he's pretty good. Was it him that has the 405 line set over there that he's going to work on? I think it was. I think it's an Echo or something he has there that he's going to do, which is interesting. There's a few of them alright. There's your man. What's his name? I can never think of all these people when I get going. It's hard to keep up with them all, you know, that there's that many people making YouTube videos now. I'm going to have a look at my subscription list actually here. Others, Vintage All Sorts. Is the chat showing my messages? It is, yeah. They're in the chat. I can see it. You rescued her from a pub. Oh, yeah. They're coming in nice and clear anyway. Yeah. Hello, Otter. Yeah, well, that's the first message I've seen from you, Otter. So, yeah, but you're there alright. Subscriptions. Let's see, how am I subscribed? Radio Plunger. We know who he is. Vintage Electronics Repair. That's Andy. He does a few live streams. He does CB radios and record players and stuff. Keeping her on topic. All the gear, no idea. Is anyone subscribed to him? I wouldn't see him around a while, but I believe he does be busy at work with his employment, so he does be tied up, so he sort of is sporadic in his YouTube output. Radio Workshop, that's Ray. He's down the south of England. Northern Rambler likes Chris. Yeah, I've seen him in you in these comment sections and what have you. Michael Dranfield, of course. I'm sure some people here in the chat will be subscribed to Mr. Dranfield. Of course, he's fairly well known because he used to write different articles and stuff in Television Magazine over the years. And of course, he's been on YouTube for a good few years now as well. But he's taken off really big lately in the last couple of months. He did 1 or 2 videos on television repair, which I've seen his subscribers skyrocket. He's nearly got 10,000 subscribers now, where he was at around 3,000 or something 4 months ago. So one video in particular, talking about modern TV repair, just took off to the moon, and I'm happy for him. He's a very decent man. And we would exchange the odd email and that, and he's a very helpful individual. So the best of luck to him. David Tipton, yeah, I've seen him alright. Tip for the chat people: on the top left PC, it devolves to top chat. Change that to live chat, and you'll see all the messages. Very good. Alright, so I'm actually in top chat. So I wonder, am I missing things? Hello, boys and girls on YouTube. That's him, alright. All chat. Maybe that's why I missed your man's message earlier on. He got very upset with me and he unsubscribed. He put a message on one of my other videos. Sorry. Did it on purpose. I wasn't blanging you. I don't intentionally blank anyone in the chat. If I don't want you in the chat, you will know about it, because I will push a button and you will go away and never be seen again. And thankfully, I've never had to do that, which is good. So that could be the reason why I missed that message earlier, but not to worry. We live and learn. So Otter's Vintage All Sorts is in the chat. I don't know. I didn't see it. Your message did not. You can attempt to resend your message now if you wish. Cody's and George Christophe are good radio fixers too. They are, yeah, and I think we're subscribed to both of those gentlemen too. Who else have we got here? Radio Fun. Here's one for you to bang into your search bar. Some interesting little circuits. Radio Fun 232 is a German fella. He makes little oddbally things. Who else have I got here? I've got some off-topic things I'm not going to get into. We've got Trev, right, which was in the chat last week. Trev, he milled and pantry transmitters out, Russian rod pentodes and stuff like that. Very interesting. We've got Mr. Carlton's Lab, although I will admit I don't watch many of his videos. For me, he's just a little bit slow or something. But he is good. I will give it that. He knows what he's talking about. I certainly wouldn't take that from him. We've got Amateur Radio, VK3YE, the chap down in Australia who does the QRP stuff. He does be quite interesting, actually, some of his stuff. Some of his stuff is a bit off the wall, but he's certainly a quirky character. He's doing very well at YouTube too. What else have we got here in the chat? Are you using live chat or top chat? Well, I'm using live chat now, and I don't know. Maybe I wasn't missing the odd message here. Well, Otter, if your message isn't being allowed, it's not being stopped by me, okay? Because it's not coming up here, as I've discussed here. If a message is held for my review, if, say, someone uses the word prick or arse or dickhead, it comes up in grey italics, and then I push a button that makes it come up in the chat. There's no message from you, so I don't know what you're trying to ask, but does try and word it a bit differently and have another hammer at it anyway. It's obviously at YouTube's end that they're stopping it. It's not even getting to me for me to okay it. So have another go at it. Perhaps. Well, you're talking about table, so maybe if you take that word out and ask your question, and I'll know what you're talking about. Alright? Michael Dranfield is a good channel to watch. He is, and he's very good with the modern stuff as well. And of course, he is still fiction TVs as part of his business. So, the best of luck to him. I wouldn't fancy it. Want to see if your man's still on 163 for the crack? Banging away there. I think this rig is a lovely response on the side.
Enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll catch up with you again.
It's like FM,
wire there working very well for you. Cracking signal there, Julian. 7-3 and then 7 JST.
He sounds like somewhere set or somewhere. Yeah. Who else am I subscribed to? Right, we got down as far as Michael Dranfield, Radio Fun 232, Trevor, Mr. Cars's Lab, Amateur Radio VK3YE. What I'm saying is, I bought an old Chinese radio from a certain website, and I wondered if you have ever searched said website for old radios or TVs. Never sold in Europe. I have not. I actually seen your thread on the UK VRR forum a while ago. No, I don't really buy stuff that often. I sort of have everything that I'll be needing going forward. He's still on the same over. I'm going to look so stupid. No, you don't look stupid. You asked your question. I gave you an answer. I hope you're alright. Did you get your radio? And if you did get your radio, I hope it's working alright for you. Your radio has not arrived yet. Well, if it's coming from China, it could take anywhere up to 2 months. I've been amazed. I can remember a couple of years ago I ordered something off AliExpress, and they sent the money back and all, and 6 months later it arrived. It was a packet with a few capacitors in it, but 6 months later it flopped in the door. So you could be waiting. But I generally find that if they send something, they send it. You do get it. It just takes a while. Luke Davis, how are you, Luke? Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen your name in the chat before. Welcome aboard, Luke. Michael Dranfield is good. He helped me figure out the secret service menu on both your Vestel LCD TVs. That'll be the sort of stuff he'd be into, alright. Oh yeah, no, he's gone to the mill. And he's well worth watching. I'm happy for him. Just mention the name of certain shop sites will also be blocked from live chat. I didn't know that. You're educating me there, Dennis. I wasn't aware of that. It had the option of random delivery. They had just a bunch of radios. I could choose one for more or let them pick one for less. I don't even know what I've bought yet. Shut up. Surprise. Hi Luke, another escapee from Big Clive's Discord. Is that what you're all hanging out? Big Clive. There are so many good radio, TV, electronics channels. It's always interesting to hear other people's favourites. Yes, Luke Daves is a new viewer. Someone posted the link in Discord, so I decided why not. Safe to say, I will be sticking around. So Dennis sent a link in a Discord, and what was this Discord for or whatever? I don't know what Discord is. I think it's like Reddit, isn't it? I find it very interesting actually to find out where people are coming from and how they come across the channel. It's always interesting to know how people have found me, whether it be through recommended in YouTube or what have you. The internet in here is brutal. Trying to see who else I'm subscribed on YouTube that I can't remember. Oh man, Dennis, no, we appreciate that. People sending links and shit around, and I would say to people, if you do think you know someone that'd be interested, feel free to let them know that I'm here. At the end of the day, we'd like to get up to dizzying heights of 10,000 subscribers or whatever, or, the more the merrier. Oh, I don't know about that. I've enough on my plate at the minute without taking on anything more. I did sort of think about put down a Facebook thing or whatever years ago, but I'm allergic to Facebook for a start, but no, we'll just stick to the YouTube for now. I also have an Instagram page that I don't use. So, yeah, where am I? I'm up to bigclive.com. Tony Albus. Anyone watch Tony? He's a Dutch chap who has a certain fetish for multimeters. Interesting stuff at times. Shango 66. Jim's Radio Shop. Jim's in Canada. Has an interesting mythology when it comes to radio repair. Jerry O'Hara. Jerry O'Hara has a very small YouTube channel. I did do a link to one of his videos in a video that I did a while ago. Jerry, very small YouTube channel. I don't even think he's got 100 subscribers, but he is regarded as basically an expert when it comes to Eddystone receivers. He knows them inside out. He's done an awful lot of them over the years. So he's someone worth checking out, and that's Jerry O'Hara. You bang that into your search bar and you'll find him. And he's in Canada. Let's see, who else we got here? Radios-TV. So White Sapphire will know who I'm talking about there. That's Chris of the Radios TV forum. He has a YouTube channel as well. He's gone into very great detail with Torrent 3500 power supplies and stuff like that. Well worth checking out, actually. Yeah, so I would recommend him. Another YouTube channel, an American chap, and the channel is his call sign. It's W1VLF. W1VLF. He does a lot of stuff on loop aerials and ferrite rod aerials and stuff like that. Very interesting, actually. Very interesting. And he's obviously some sort of an RF engineer or something. He knows what he's talking about. Who else have we got here? George Christophe's after coming up here. I'm subscribed to him. Let's see. Yeah, White Sapphire. I myself, actually, I said this last week. I don't know if you were in the chat or what. I met Chris at the MVCF and we shook hands. And I said to him, now, Chris, I'm one of the people that you probably wouldn't be too keen on because I'm what they call a lurker. I'm a member of the UK or the VRAF for him, but I've never posted. So I said, I told him, I says, I'm a lurker, I've never posted. And he says, that's alright, John Joe, I'm a viewer, but I'm not subscribed. So we shook hands. We over the Iron Curtain, and we shook hands. It's all good. I don't post much on that. I'm on the 3 forums. I only really post on the UK VRR forum, and even that's very sporadic these days. To be honest. Great sound quality on it. Mind you, the BFO was resting for 40 years. That's true. Our vintage all sorts. I don't know how to pronounce that, but pretty small channel with interesting obscure stuff. Sounds good. It's nice to find a channel not going on about the recent news. Alright. We try to keep politics and everything out of this. I know some YouTubers that are into vintage electronics get very in-depth with politics and matters of the day. I don't, because I think I've said it before and I've explained the reason why. I think people want to sit down and watch something on YouTube or whatever. If they're looking up a video for vintage TV or vintage radio, chances are they're wanting to get away from all that shit for half an hour. And they just want to focus on the matter at hand. So that's what we try to stick to. We keep away from that. Microwave One, yeah, I'm actually subscribed to him. I just haven't got down to him yet. And IMSA, I've seen him too. I don't think I'm subscribed to him. Let's see who else I have. I'm not subscribed to all that many people, really. I'm subscribed to enough. Mark Felton, off topic really, but very good videos. Just for anyone that's into history, war history. Lockdown Electronics is another one. Simon Spears, who does turn up from time to time here actually. And Steve's Vintage Electronics Long Stay Workshop. Steve is an interesting man. All you have to do to make a video is get your phone, go YouTube, you have a public account because you're able to comment here. Just point the phone or whatever you want to do, or just record it on your phone, and then hit share out of your gallery, and then the YouTube symbol will come up. Type in what you want to type in, title, whatever. It'll all go through with you, and then press submit or whatever, publish, and then your video will spit up onto YouTube. That's very simple, but there's an instruction of videos on YouTube about how to put a YouTube video up and what have you. So it's not too hard. If I can manage it, anyone can manage it. Photonic Induction is an interesting channel. A bit destructive though. Yeah, he's gone quiet again as well. He's vanished off into the ether once more after a break of he vanished for about 4 or 5 years, and then he came back, made about 10 videos, and then he's vanished again. But I think he's a busy man with work and what have you as well. Oh, how to make the video interesting. Well, you look at my early videos and none of them are interesting. That'll come with time. Just do whatever you're going to do. Talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. And if people are interested, they'll watch. And if they're not, they won't. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, I'd like to share my thing with people, but there's no point in people who aren't interested in watching this kind of stuff sitting here and watching. I only really want to be sharing stuff with people who are interested in it, which is fair enough, I think. And if they're interested, they'll watch a video. Right. Or that's the gist of it anyway, I think. A few more people after joining the chat. Welcome aboard. I see the S-meter still dancing around here on this fella, so he must still be there.
It's a little bit everything as you would say, but there you go, that's the way the world is. Anyway, here,
He's getting a bit of splatter on him though. Let's throw in the notch and see will it make a difference.
Microphone back to you from MN7 JNT to M7
The old notch filter is handy. He's still going. He's Andrew Osfa has a good channel too. He does. I'm actually subscribed to him as well. He likes the vintage test equipment and the old wireless. He certainly does. Vintage Otter says, my followers probably think I've stopped doing videos. I try to give as much info on the items as possible. As interesting as they are, I don't have a whole lot of info on them. Ah, well, it doesn't matter. You're all sharing the thing, you know. Yeah, photonic induction was quite interesting, alright. Of course, he shot to fame for, I think the famous video he did was where he put the brick into the washing machine. I think that was his big breakthrough on YouTube. He is a radio ham, yeah, that's right, Dennis. But I think he seems to speak with a bit of authority when it comes to the old RF end of things. Jenny's been watching a Cavan dairy farmer, even though I know nothing about farming. He just has a great personality. Yeah, you can get quirky fellas like that on the YouTube, alright. Yeah, that could be keeping him busy, alright. That could get in the way too. Yeah, the Chipmunk 2008. Welcome into the chat. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before either, so welcome aboard the good ship. Yeah, I knew about that. I didn't really bring that up. It's sort of his own business, but yeah, he went through the rigmarole. He did make a video about it though. Also here because of the link posted in Discord. Like Luke, well, very good. Welcome aboard. Thanks very much for watching. Interesting how all these people are coming in here and finding me through all these different sources. I set up an Instagram 10 years ago thinking that I'd get loads and loads of subscribers off Instagram, but I don't think I ever got anyone off Instagram. It's a waste of time. Though for anyone who has Instagram, there's a very interesting chap on there, young fella. I can't think of his name though. I'll look and see if I can find his name. If the internet will shoot enough. Instagram. Radio Sanctuary on Instagram. So have a look for him. Radio Sanctuary on Instagram. He did tell me that a while ago he was thinking about setting up a YouTube channel, and I hope he does. He's very interesting. Actually, I wonder how many followers he's got now. I think his output at the minute is a little bit sporadic because I think that he's in college, so it's probably keeping him a bit busy. He's got 975 followers on Instagram, and he does a lot of little homebrew items, little TRF radio receivers and stuff like that, and it's quite interesting. You got yourself an Electronica Industriale video from around 1969. Well, that sounds like an interesting contraption, alright. Well done, yeah, the old Videotron. It was like a video phone that I had here. I got a couple of them. I gave them to another chap though that's into well, he's got his own little private exchange thing set up in his house with a lot of vintage phones, so I let him have them. He was very excited about them. I'm afraid it's not a speedy delivery site for grannies, Dennis. You will be disappointed to hear. So that's pretty much it for the subscribers on my end, anyway. Discord is the only social media that Jerry uses. I can't say I'd be a massive social media interaction type person. No. Probably not. So anyway, that's Radio Sanctuary on Instagram for anyone who is on Instagram. He's worth having a look at. I personally don't really like Instagram, to be honest with you. I think it's a waste of time. That's pretty much it. I'm going to sign off now. It's 9:15. It's time I went in and relaxed for the rest of the evening. So I'm going to say good night. Jerry's not into Facebook or TikTok. I don't do TikTok either now. A lot of pain in the arse. So we'll see how we get on. We might do the live stream next Sunday if life is good to us. And I might get something done during the week. But there's a lot happening at the minute. So Simon Spears, yeah. Have him there, alright. He's good. Simon swings in here from time to time as well. And I've met Simon in person as well. A very cordial fellow indeed. White Sapphire says she'll be here if I do. Well, that'll do. I'll take that. As I say, it's hard to plan out in advance at the minute, but it's quite possible we'll be able to make it happen even for an hour. I'm on nearly 2 hours here now as well, so it's probably time we gave the old computer a bit of a rest. Alright lads, I'm going to leave it at that. It's been interesting. And a few new names in the chat, so hopefully a few new subscribers as well, lads. Good. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will see you in the near future. And of course, I will be heading to the Goblin. So we'll talk more about that closer to the time though. That's about 6 or 7 weeks out yet. But that should be interesting too. Nice day out, something different. Haven't been there before. Only been to the NBCF is the only one I've been to in the UK. So looking forward to the Goblin. White Sapphire can't get the Goblin. Sorry to hear that, but we shall talk about it in the near future. Northern Rambler wishes me luck with the JRC. Well, I'm hoping the JRC will feature more in the future, but so far so good. I just need to sort out the switch and the power supply. That's a bit upsetting. Other than that, we're looking good. I agree with you, Dennis. I don't want to go near any of that modern crap. Right, all 73s, everyone. And we'll catch you in the next one soon. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. It's been a bit of crack. And it's always good to see new people in the chat, too. So we'll party on. Keep our country, lads. Good luck.